Good morning. It is Tuesday morning, the first day, official day to my work week. My normal business hours are Tuesday through Saturday. So I thought I would do a little week in the life or work from home vlog, whatever you want to call it. And I just got back from taking Olivia to school. So it's time to start my morning routine. I take 30 minutes and I have a little card to remind me of all the things I'm supposed to do for my morning / startup routine, and then I have an end of the day routine on the back. So the main thing I do for my morning routine is go through my email. I like to try and get that to inbox 0 both in the morning and in the evening as much as possible. So I'm going to do that. I go through my CRM. I use HoneyBook, my client resource manager, and make sure there's nothing I need to do in there, whether it's tasks or onboarding clients or anything like that. Follow-ups, all that. And then I check my schedule for the day, set any alarms for any meetings or anything that I have to actually, connect with somebody at a certain time for, so I don't forget or get caught up and lose track of time. And then the last thing I do for my morning routine is check my bank accounts. I've been the victim of fraud a few times in the last year or so. Apparently all my information was out there for the taking. So I like to just, look at it at least once a day and make sure things are actually stuff that I have purchased. So usually this takes me anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, just depending. And right now I have exactly an hour till I take Carter to school. So I would like to get through that as fast as possible because I would like to do a little bit of cleaning before I take him to school. We'll see how that goes. So I just onboarded a new client. I'm so excited that I'm planning a quinceañera for the first time. So I keep all my clients organized. I'm sorry, I'm probably really close. I keep all my clients organized in one of these purple slash pockets, and they live in my work box. So I'm going to put the birthday girl's name there with my label maker and move on to the next thing. Okay, so I got Carter to school, came home, working on a timeline for a tailgate, which I just do in Google Sheets. Weddings are a little bit different and more complicated, but working on that, and I've got the timeline, the contacts, which I'm not gonna put everybody's phone number out there. I've got diagrams for where everything will be, and our setup and our strike list. So I'm working on that. I'm getting ready to actually switch over to a wedding and finalizing a timeline for that. The tailgate and wedding are both this Saturday. So we're just getting everything together, and that's it. I may get up and go walk around for a minute because my legs are falling asleep sitting here. So that's all I'm doing. All right, it is now about 2:45, and I've been working on this wedding, and I just put everything away, but I should have showed you when all the papers were everywhere. It's interesting when putting a wedding together and the final details and everything, how many pieces of paper and emails and all of the stuff that we've been planning for sometimes a year, and putting it all together into the final documents can be nerve-wracking because it feels like you're pulling information from a million different places. But once it's together and you can see the plan for the whole wedding day all in one, it's so satisfying. And I'm almost there with this wedding. So I have to stop now though and go get the children from school. Hello, it is Thursday, third day of my work week. And yesterday I didn't film at all because I just had some client meetings throughout the day and kind of firming up some timeline type issues. So it really wasn't anything to vlog. I actually took a lot of yesterday off just because I felt very overwhelmed on Tuesday, and I felt like I just needed half a day to relax, put that in the back of my mind, and then today I was able to start off with a much more clear head and focus on the tasks at hand. So I thought I would show you what my wedding binder looks like for a wedding. I have one on Saturday this week, and I'm just putting that together with the final timeline and whatnot. So I will show you. All right, so this is a smaller wedding, so they don't have quite all of the elements that would be in a larger production, but they have, you know, most of them. So in the front, I have this 8.5 by 11 zipper pouch, and I got a pack of 10, I think, on Amazon for pretty inexpensive. In here I just have a chalk marker, some different colored Sharpies. I realized I need to add a black Sharpie here that got pulled out, I guess, at the last event, a highlighter, and a couple of pens. And then I have some envelopes that I usually use for you know, my staff payment and whatnot. Once the couple gives me their tips or final payments for the day, I will also put it in here for safekeeping. And then I have some paper clips. These are just the items that we tend to reach for most events that I like to have handy. And then, so I have some tabs here, and I'll go through each one. This has grown and changed and adjusted over the years, and I think I'm at a good point where it works really well for us. So I don't want to show you any of the couple's personal information, so I will probably skip over the actual paperwork, but the front section is the timeline for the wedding day. And then the next section, I can show you this, is our mood board, if we have done one. Some of my packages include a mood board and some don't. So this one did. And color palette. And then usually I would have floor plans here. Like I said, it's a smaller wedding, so there's really no floor plan. Floor plan would go here, and then seating chart would go here normally. I have a packing list. Usually it is much more robust packing list, but like I said, it is a smaller wedding, so not very many moving pieces there. The next section is our event team. So a list of our venues, vendors, and all their contact information. The VIP list is bride, groom, wedding party, parents, grandparents, any important people for the wedding day. Anybody that they have designated will make decisions on the wedding day or help quell any conflicts that arise. I always ask those questions, who I would go to for that. So this section includes that. And then I have a section in the back with all of our contracts and all of our planning documents. So any notes that I've taken, contracts, notes that I've taken during meetings and whatnot. And then, I keep smacking the camera, I'm sorry. In the back, I'll have just any paperwork I'm pulling out. Like, for example, I think I can show you this. There's no addresses or anything on there. I use this sheet that kind of keeps me organized with my vendor communication. So for example, the photographer. So they hired their own photographer. I did not find him for them. So there wasn't a lot of communication in the beginning because I didn't, you know, they didn't have one. They didn't give me his information right away. So I did not get a contract from them. I usually like to get a contract, but sometimes I don't. I will check here if I've sent an introduction to a vendor that a client has already hired themselves, just so I'm aware that, you know, I've already sent that introduction email. A 30-day email out 30 days out from the wedding. I'll typically send an email just saying, you know, hey, what else do you need from us, basically. A 14-day email with a draft timeline for them to confirm. I'll check when they've confirmed that. And then I just sent my final emails so I can check off the venue, the photographer, catering. They actually did pay catering, and the band. So that is that. The bartender, I don't have information for. That's just somebody at their house. And then after the wedding, I will follow up with the vendor with any follow-up information that we need to pass, asking them if they have any follow-ups for the couple. I like to put that all in one email rather than them getting 10 different emails with stuff. So I'll check that off when I usually check it, like when I send the email, and I'll check it again when they reply. And then the review section is if it's a new vendor that I've worked with and I've never left a review for them, I will ask, well, regardless, I ask what platform they would like reviews on, and I give that link to the clients usually, but I will check if I have left a review for them also, because I like to be a good vendor partner. Now, all of this, again, like I said, gets put into a binder. Sometimes the 1-inch binder is almost too small for a big wedding. Sometimes I just need a little 1/2-inch binder. This one is for a tailgate that we're doing on Saturday. So kind of tailor my day of paperwork and whatnot to the size of the wedding and the complexity of the wedding, if you will. So this was finalizing for this weekend's wedding. I have 2 weddings that are 2 weeks out, so I need to send that 14-day email to vendors saying, here's our draft timeline, please look through it, tell me if anything needs updated or adjusted. And I will do that next week, make all their adjustments, and hopefully get the final timeline out Tuesday of the week before the wedding. Good morning. It is Friday. I stayed up, not stayed up, but stayed at my computer working a lot later yesterday than I usually do, getting ready for a wedding coming up. But it's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of people, so I wanted to pay some extra attention and make sure that I have everything correct. So, I actually had to get dressed today. Fit check. I have a meeting with the hotel and the florist for that wedding today. And but first I have emails to catch up on during my startup routine, and I have class to look, videos to watch, something about a software I use and how to use it more productively. So first I have to get Olivia to school. I finished the productivity course. I'm really learning on learning how to take what I want and what will serve me and leave the rest, rather than trying to implement absolutely everything that I learned from everybody, because that is a great way to drive you crazy. And it makes things way more complicated than it has to be. So I'm going to take today to think that over and figure out exactly what I want to implement and what I don't, and get my Todoist organized. That's the program I use that the class was about. And I just need to decide, like, how far do I want to take it with personal and work stuff. I use it for both. For personal, I use it mostly for kind of repetitive tasks that I want reminded of every day, because it will sync with my Google Calendar, and then I can check it off and it'll go away. And then for work stuff, I do use it a little bit for that, but mostly for work I use it for client project management. So each client will have their own project, and then I can upload the kind of starting to-do list and customize it, and then check things off as we go. But now I actually have to go into Detroit and see a ceremony space for a wedding we have in a couple weeks, and meeting the florist there and the hotel event coordinator. So I will try and remember to show you a little bit of the space. It's a really beautiful hotel and building, and the museum inside the lobby is where the ceremony is going to be. And that's really exciting because it's not typically used for that purpose. So, you know, creating custom weddings from your dreams is all, you know, what I'm about. So I'm excited to see that come into fruition, and to talk to the florist and the hotel today about how we're going to set everything up. All right. So this is the space. And this, I'm standing basically in the aisle. Excuse me. And it's going to have some rows of chairs, obviously, for guests, a floral installation up front, and it's right off of the lobby of the Aloft Hotel. So that meeting went very quick. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you plan for an hour and it takes 15 minutes, and sometimes you plan for an hour and have somewhere to be, and people are just chatting on an hour and a half later. So you just never know. I always like to build in plenty of time, but I stopped in Dearborn on my way home and had a late lunch since I hadn't eaten lunch, and I wanted to kill some time before I have to pick the kids up. I ate at Dave's Hot Chicken. It's on Michigan Avenue, right there by Buffalo Wild Wings. It's so good, and I always crave it after I eat it because we don't have one closer to our house than this, I don't think. And this is about 30 minutes. So yeah, I get, I think the first time I came here I got the medium, and it was a little bit spicy, so I went down to the mild, and it was like perfect last time. But the mild today was kind of not as spicy, so I don't know, probably depends on the person that makes it, to be honest. But now I'm actually going to head home. I still have some time to kill. I'm going to head back home, and not to the house, but back to my town, and go to the shoe store, because as I showed you, I got these dresses, this dress and two other dresses in the mail that I bought mostly for work stuff. And it's getting colder now. It's 2:20 in the afternoon, and it's still only 66 degrees, so open-toed shoes would have been fine once, you know, this afternoon, but this morning it was like 45 degrees and I was freezing. So I need to look for some dress shoes that go with my dresses, that will be cute, coordinate with the dresses, but also be comfortable for wedding days, because sometimes, you know, I'm on my feet 8, 10, 12, sometimes hours a day, just depending on the day. So hopefully I can find some. If they have arch support, that would be great, because I'm getting older now and I don't have a very high arch, but I have archy flip-flops, and I can really tell a difference when I wear those versus flip-flops or sandals that don't have any arch support. It's really helpful. So that's what's on the agenda now. Also, I want to say, before I start driving, that since this is a work vlog, work week in the life vlog, whatever you want to call it, I just want to say that my favorite thing about working from home and making my own schedule is having flex days like today. I had meetings this morning, or like around noon. I had a meeting, the class I took this morning, and then this afternoon I can do personal things. On Mondays is usually my errand day for like going grocery shopping and whatever other errands I have to do. Any projects I want to do at the house, I try and do on Mondays, doctor's appointments, facials, nail appointments, all that stuff I try and schedule for Mondays because I have the flexibility to do that. Now, with that being said, working in the wedding industry, a lot of Saturdays I'm working. So Sunday, Monday are my days off. But weeks that I don't have to work on Saturday, or you know, if my kids have a game and I'm not, you know, scheduling appointments for that day, I don't have a wedding that day, I still tend to do my errands on Monday because the kids are in school. I can use Sunday to just spend time with them, and it's just helpful. So try, if you are at all in charge of your schedule, try and build in some flex time. It may not be a day and a half every week. Like I took this week, it may just be Friday afternoons or Monday mornings, or, you know, figure out what works for you. And, you know, I don't even take a day and a half every single week. I usually always take Mondays, but Fridays, sometimes I do work all day and have meetings and then rehearsals or things like that. So that was just a thought that I thought I would share.